everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Sam and I are happy to have Brent Duncan with us, Director of Athletics at CHS. Hi, Brent.
How's everybody today?
How's everybody?
Yeah, it's you too.
Doing well. Glad to have you, as always.
It's Monday.
You're the one we wonder if it's okay or not.
Yeah, it's great. It's warm outside. It's April. We're starting spring sports up. So.
Spartan's spring sports off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, I mean, we've had doubleheader softball Saturday with Oldenburg, and the girls won both those games to start out 2-0, and baseball beat Richmond on Friday night, I believe, to make it 1-0. So a 1-0 game to make the record 1-0. And
that's good.
taking the field tonight against Batesville, who's ranked number 4 in 3A. So we'll see where we stack up a little bit.
Sounds good.
So this will get started tomorrow, and track has its only home meet on Thursday till the sectional.
Only home?
We're in 3 ways, and we're all rotated out except for this one. So it's opening night and it's senior night on Thursday for the track team. So
All in one.
well, that's a good thing. Nobody's upset yet. Everybody's excited about the season and ready to roll. So
That's good that things are beginning on the right foot.
yeah, I mean, compared to where we were at 2 years ago, and being able to have people
Yes.
open in the stands and come in and watch our kids, and that's a plus for them.
So tennis is right around the corner. Golf
Start tomorrow, and golf had their first invitational on Saturday.
and track is the other spring sport.
And track and field's the other one. So
And the teams at middle school, they doing okay?
getting ready to start. They haven't had. They're supposed to have their first thing tomorrow. So we'll see how they stand.
I know as athletic director, you keep your fingers crossed this time of the year with the weather.
I think we're all breathing in right now because it's a nice day. But tomorrow, I'm not so sure yet.
Well, weatherman's beginning of his broadcast talked about rain all week, so far we haven't had rain. But
I hope a mild winter doesn't mean a very harsh spring. But sometimes that goes hand in hand. So we'll see.
right, it can really be uncomfortable for the kids. Rain and cold and wind and.
Well, it's just like Saturday. We've already bumped back the start time for softball to 1 o'clock and baseball to 12:30. Both of those were supposed to start at 11, but it's supposed to be snow flurry Saturday morning and high of 44. So maybe if we can get to the afternoon, at least we'll get through the warm part of the day while we're out there playing. So
What's it take for you to cancel something? Or to
just depends on the bats.
reschedule?
They start getting the 30s. It's not good for the bats. If all those composite bats anymore, it doesn't take much for them to get cold. And so they tell me that the ball hit that just right and blow those bats apart. So it ain't for a kid to lose his bat or her bat just because it's cold outside. But we've played in pretty cold weather, so we'll find out. It's bad when it's cold and misty. That's the worst part. Just rain enough not to cancel, but not hard enough to end the game, and we can still finish. It just gets a little chilly.
Hard on the kids, hard on mom and dad and grandma and grandpa to come and see it.
Yeah, it's when it's at least today it's in the 40s or close to 50, and it's comfortable outside, and you can bundle up a little bit and still be safe. So hopefully the weatherman's not always right. So let's hope their predictions for the week are going bad.
They get paid whether they're right or not.
That's why they get a contract, I guess.
Yes,
The only people we know that can keep their job, even though they're not right very often.
that's correct. Yeah,
Sports figures, baseball player, you can be 1 for 3 and be multimillionaire. So
yeah, that's true.
fail 2 times and succeed once.
But
But those are rare animals.
that's
too.
rare. There's not a very big population.
No, very
percentage of
small.
the population.
Very small, so they probably get paid what they're worth in talent-wise. So some get overpaid, but that's my opinion.
We have a little bit of a clip that's showing something about the baseball team at CHS. Let's check that out right now.
Could use a courthouse.
Yeah.
Did you say just one senior is on the?
Yeah, Gavin Lynch is our only senior on the baseball team. So. Lead off man and playing left field.
Well, hopefully they're having a good day, good game today. And I know you
Let's
want to
hope.
check
We
it out.
start at 6, so let's got time to come out and see them to play, and hopefully we'll get off to a good start. Girls are traveling to Newcastle tonight for softball, so hopefully they'll get another win, and It's just odd looking at that picture and seeing all the guys now with the long hair hanging out the bottom of the caps for so long. It was long and then got real short and stayed short forever. Now that long hair is back.
Back to long.
I hope they got big enough hats to keep it on their head with all that hair
Well, that's a
underneath
problem,
there.
I guess, with the wind and everything.
Some of them just barely sit it on there. Don't stay on there very long. So.
You couldn't put policy in as to how long the hair can be?
I don't know that would hold up in court very well.
Probably not. Nothing holds up in court anymore, it seems like.
Back in the 70s that you could, but not now. In fact, there were some haircut standards, as I recall, for the basketball team
That's right.
in the early to mid 70s, and there were some kids that decided to play at the Y instead of playing at the bowl because of that. But,
You had to have it all for eyebrow, off the collar of your shirt, halfway up your ear.
but times change, and
Well, I was surprised when short hair cycled back through as short as it got to the buzz cut. So now it's headed back the other direction again. So it all circles around. You've seen elephant bell bottoms walking around lately, and
you see the mustaches. My mustache finally coming back into fashion. You
There
see
you
the
go.
NCAA players, a lot of them with mustaches now.
somebody's a trendsetter, and you got to run with it.
I guess.
So,
Yeah, to me, a barber should be a part of every team, maybe.
some of them probably have their own barber that travel with them. So
Okay.
I would guess
That'd be a
that's a
decent gig,
possibility.
yeah.
So
Maybe one of these days that'll change back, and
the only thing that's constant is change. So
that's right. That's right.
So.
This week at CHS, we might talk about, as Brent said, the softball at Newcastle, and the baseball homers with Batesville.
yeah, and just so you know, the JV team was supposed to travel to Batesville tonight, but they couldn't find umpires, so I got umpires. So their JV team's playing at the Senior Babe Ruth Field tonight at 6, and then we're going to send our umpires to them on Thursday. So both of our teams will travel back to them on Thursday instead of having the JV home. So
Wondering why the lights were on at the senior field this afternoon. They're probably trying them out.
yep, so they're going to start down there about 6. So
So it's 2 umpires in baseball, right?
correct. Until you get to the tournament, then they put 3 on it.
So they're in short supply also?
Very much so. I think a lot of them have, for whatever reasons, have jumped to softball. It's a little faster game, and based on Title IX, you have to pay them the same, so they get the same amount of pay for half the amount of time. So it's good economics for them, I guess.
That's the story. That's
Makes it tough on you guys, though.
It does. It makes it a little hard sometimes to find people, and well, we got a good group of people that keep coming, and Craig Roberts helps do all of our scheduling for the conference, so that takes care of 14 of our games, so it makes it a little bit easier that I don't have to find them for 14 more instead of all 28, because sometimes that's a tough job. But we got the same group of 12 to 14 guys that'll just circle through the conference and do all the conference games on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Mondays and Thursdays. So that alleviates a little bit of that stress of having to find all those umpires. And at least they're consistent throughout the conference, or we're seeing the same guys over and over for every game. So
I know we see a lot in the fall football referees. We see those same guys on the hard court for basketballs. Do they carry over into baseball as well?
some of them,
those?
but not all. Jeff Gwynn does baseball, softball. Scott Wagner, which comes down with Wilson, and Rippiger, and John's getting out because he's had an injury, so I think he's done. But Wagner does softball as well. Carmen Hawk, which we've had her, she does softball. So there's a little bit of that do overlap.
You know, we give those guys a hard time from time to time, but it's a hard job, and we're fortunate to have some pretty good refs in the area for all the sports.
Well, I think through the state and the country, we've lost a lot of referees just because our fans, not just ours particular, but our fans don't treat them very well. And I think they're more concerned about being consistently yelled at and harped at by the fans. It's not so much the kids and the coaches, but it's the people in the stands that think that every call they make is the wrong call. And you know, I had a situation at New Pal a few years ago, and the guy was on the home plate umpire on pitch 1. I'm just sitting next to him, and Shane Russell was sitting next to me, and we got up to bat, and it was one of those bang plays down third where it was fair or foul. I couldn't tell. I thought it was fair, but he called a foul. And so he said, "Now you can yell." I said, "I don't have time to waste my breath to yell at the umpires."
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how to said it, but I had to leave to go to the regional track meeting, and Shane said that guy never said another word the rest of the time. It's like there's not a point in time that I need to yell at the official from the stand. They're not out there trying to cheat anybody, and they're trying to do the best they can. And give the kids the best opportunity to play, and yet we think we pay our $5 or whatever to get in, and we can berate them and yell at them and scream at them, and that just runs some of them out, and we don't need that.
And there's always going to be things we disagree with, but normally they're right on top of the action.
Yeah, and they're right 50% of every call, and they're wrong on 50% of every call, because half the gym's yelling at them, half the gym's clapping for them. So, I guess there's a point in time where you step over and cross the line and the boundaries. So,
What do they make? What do officials make? Average?
oh, anywhere from probably $75 to $95 a game.
Yeah.
Not worth the. If you break down some of them by hours, not very much, but I mean, it helps pay their cost to get there to travel, and
Sure.
every school's a little different, and everybody has a little bit of different pay scale. So.
Well, the IHSAA has addressed the problem of officials.
Oh, they've been brought up many times throughout meetings and across the state at conferences, and trying to do some partnerships with, even the National Guard for those people that needed a little part-time job, and just to get people that want involved. They tried to do a mentor program with high school kids to get them involved, and a couple times or a couple years their license could be free if they wanted to get them, but getting those people to step across that line to go take the abuse sometimes that they have to take for giving their time to help our kids have sports. And I think that's what people forget. They're willingly giving up their time to come and benefit your kid to have an event. So if we ever run short officials, then I don't know what we're going to do. It'll all become AAU, and then we're all in a world of trouble. So that's my personal 2 cents on that one. But
Yeah, and if you're a fan and you like going and watching, then put yourself in their shoes, I suppose, or step up and learn how to do it.
well, there's always opportunity. I'm sure that Sandra Walters, who's in charge of the officials at the IHSA, will not turn you away, and get you a good mentor to come and get it. And depending on where you want to go, you can work about every day of your week. I know some guys will send me their scores and say, "I only have this date open all spring," and they're working every night just to try to give our kids opportunities to get out and play. And sometimes we don't treat them with the most respect, which they deserved and have earned.
I know in varsity basketball, it seemed that when we first went to 3 officials that they were learning, and it wasn't as good. But after everybody's gotten used to having 3, it's gotten a lot better, I think, overall.
Yeah, I think they work at their craft. They have associations that they belong to. They go to meetings. They have, what are clinics or whatever you want to call them to help with their officials. They do a lot of things in the summertime for like dirt road leagues or summer leagues for high school kids or camps. So they all give their time willingly to help benefit the sports across Indiana. So least we can do is show them the courtesy and respect back when they come to officiate at your place, and say thank you every now and then instead of always yelling at them. So
You just can't say, I want to become an official. Do they have to?
well, they have to take a test, and you got to get a certain score on the test.
Okay.
I can't say if it still is. It used to be open book, but you only had like an hour to take it. And I know I took an officiating class in school, and there's probably close to 100 questions on it, so you don't have a lot of time. You got to at least know you can't look up every answer.
What are some of the questions?
Oh God, that's 30 plus years ago. I don't remember.
Well, I thought maybe you remembered 1 or 2.
No, I don't remember too many of them. So
Maybe you should apply, Fran.
That's right. Well, why would, I just wonder, was there a way to study for the test?
well, you can get a book and you can look through the rule book.
Okay.
So they have rule books and case books that you can look up, and you can purchase online and study for it. And then, of course, a lot of them try to get in the official association and attend the clinics that they have, and talk to the veteran experienced men and women that are out there to get some ideas. And we have some good young officials coming that have been mentored by pretty good people, but I don't know if we have as many coming in as it might be headed on the outside door. So that's a concern.
Used to be there would be somebody come and observe. That I remember that over the years at the bowl.
They send them probably not often, but we've had a couple down.
May not have the numbers to do that anymore.
But as everybody says, and I think I find it true when they get older, but when we get out there, there ain't gonna be anybody else coming to fish. Well, there always seems to be somebody, but I don't know if they're coming in like they used to come in as they are now. So.
Well, that's interesting about the officials. It really is.
Well, we try to take care of them, and Brian Edgecombe does a great job with them when they get there and making sure they have what they need. And he's had a lot of compliments from our officials, the way they've been treated, and not just at all of our venues. And we had an official write an exemplary report for our girls softball team last week because of the way they performed and behaved themselves at Oldenburg. And obviously,
That's good.
So
That
we want our
happens.
kids doing the right things, and
Sure.
our officials notice that, how they're treated by the coaches and the players and our fans at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always nice to get those reports.
I've had some talk about how they like to come to the bowl because of the crowd, because of the atmosphere.
Well, I think it's, if I really want to, I'd probably have a standing room list only for the ladies who want to come on the night before
Opening
Thanksgiving.
night.
But, you know, I put out the list for the officials for the next year or two, and I have so many officials that reply that they'll want to work that I don't have spots for them for at least 2 years. I couldn't get them all put in 2-year things. So for some places, you know, in basketball, the bowl's a bucket list place for some of them to come and officiate in, and that's a good thing. But, you know, in all the sports, the coaches have an opportunity to rank them from 1 to 5 based on how they think. And when they rank them 5, that's who I chase down because that's the best that they can be. So that's part of my job, and I look at who's officiated in the state tournaments and try to grab them. As many that, no, not all of them are going to come because some are in the region and some are down in Evansville. But you know, every now and then they'll make a trip if they can find a couple games on the same weekend and in the same area. So you try to get people in, and try to rotate the faces so you're not having the same people all the time. But some of them you want all the time because they're quality, high-ranking officials that officiate a good game, and when you leave, you don't remember if they were on the court or not.
And that's the key. When you don't notice them,
Yeah,
they're doing a good
whether on the
job.
field or on the out on the pitch at soccer or wherever, you know, when they leave and you don't remember they were even there, that's what you want. So
On Tuesday this week, tennis will be home with Greensburg. Softball home will be going rather to East Central. On Thursday, there's the track meet, the home with Centerville. Tennis will be at Batesville, and baseball will be at Batesville. Is that correct, Coach?
yeah, in the conference we play home and away, so
Okay.
they're both at our place today, and typically we have one of them at our place and one there, but it's different this time. And then on Tuesday when the girls play East Central Realm, that's a varsity JV doubleheader. We're going to try to do that with a lot of our conference school, play the varsity game at 5:30, and as soon as that's over, play a JV game on the back end of that. Now, we have the ability, if both schools agree, to cut the JV game down to 5 innings, but we may have to agree to see where that is as the time. With lights, we just don't want them out there till 9 or 10 on a school night trying to get back home. So
Right.
those will be things that we'll have to cross when we get to that point.
Sure. On Friday, the tennis will be at Shenandoah. On Saturday, the baseball home with Yorktown, the softball home with Union County. Both those start at 11 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah, we just changed those today. So baseball's going to start at 12:30 and softball's going to start at 1.
Okay.
Just to try to get a little bit warmer Saturday.
little heat.
Let's hope.
With our different fields and everything.
Yeah, right there on campus. You know, softball's just south of the school, and of course
Yes.
baseball out south of the football field. So Brian's got them in good shape, and you know our second softball field's coming along, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks it'll be done. Just had bad weather since December, trying to get grass and sod and dugouts, and it's not been cold, and it's just been wet and mushy all day. And finally they got enough to get their machinery in there to get it all put down. So sod was laid earlier last week, and now we're just letting it grow in, and we'll get ready to go.
Brian does a great job for us
Yeah, I don't
at all
think
of our facilities.
I don't think people know what goes in behind
It's hard
getting the
work.
field ready and cutting grass and trying to keep everything so it's as good as you can with one person trying to take care of as many things as he takes care
He
of.
has to work around the weather this time of year too. And
Yeah, and if it rains and the grass keeps growing and finally gets a dry day, he's got to spend time cutting the grass. And a lot different outside than it is inside when you're working just in the bowl or at the high school or wherever. So
How long does it take to mow the lawn at the football field and softball and other ones?
I don't know.
You
Probably a
you've
couple,
never
3
timed
hours.
him?
No, I don't time him. I trust him to do his job. And I've never been let down that he hasn't had something done that he knew about coming. So,
Yeah, the facilities really look beautiful all the time, yes.
and Brian takes pride in what he does, and
Yes.
he likes to change the sceneries. But you know, at some point in time, he may decide if he wants to stay as a custodian, maybe he wants a more steady time instead of extra hours, where you know where your daytime hours are here to here, instead of sometimes in the winter you're in the daytime, in the afternoon you're out there a lot at night, and then indoors and outdoors. But he's pretty flexible.
he's got a lot of beautiful flowers at his home too that he takes care of.
Ryan does a great job around his house.
Yes, he does.
He's big into antiquing, and I think he won the Fayette County Home Flowers
I wouldn't be surprised.
house one
yeah.
time, I think.
Yeah.
So He does an awesome job. He cooks pretty well too.
Oh, I haven't.
I've had a few of his stuff, so.
I know it's just August, or it's just April, but Coach Harder is talking about some basketball with Spartan girls.
Yeah, today actually they can do limited contact time starts today, so out of season team sports and or out of season sports, anything that's not in spring can now do a couple days a week, 2 hours at a time through about May 14th, and then got to shut that down again. So they got about 6 weeks worth of work that they can work 2 hours a day, 2 times a week with them.
What are the plans for the summer? Do you have any idea?
Coaches are putting those together, working on their
Okay.
camp forms, and there'll always be open gyms and open workouts through the summertime.
And the IHSA sort of regulates that, don't they?
A little bit. Football they regulate more, and that's because football coaches they can be in their pads 12 times during the summertime. Basketball, baseball, softball, a little bit different than it used to be. It used to be you couldn't talk to them, you couldn't do anything. Now you can pretty much do what you want with them all summer long. So like Michael can play baseball with his whole baseball team as long as it's not on our field or in our uniforms, and he's not under the Connersville Spartan High School. So kind of like basketball's going to shootout, and your whole team goes and your coaches coach them now. So a little different.
What will Coach Harder have her girls to do?
Get better.
I know that's the aim down the road, but
they're going to go down to do some shootouts, and I'm sure they'll go to a couple, 3 of those this summer and work on skill. I mean, that's what you use your off season to get stronger and work on your skills, and
And this is for youngsters that are.
Right now, pretty much she can limit what comes in, but she'll have a camp for the younger kids coming up in the summertime.
Okay.
I know her and Carrie are looking at camp dates right now, and Stephanie starts her volleyball stuff tonight with the high school and the middle school, and then she'll have her Legacy League coming up, in May for the middle school or 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade kids, and they'll do that in the arena at the middle school. So should be flyers already out at the schools for those, and those are good things for our coaches and our kids. So.
What about the boys? What's planned for them? Do you have any idea?
Gary's working on that, so he just gave me his workout sheet last Friday on open gym times for just right now. So sent me his camp flyer today. I just haven't looked at it yet. So just trying to get all those in place.
It's important to have that kind of conditioning this time of the year.
Well, I think anymore, if you're not doing something, you're falling behind the way things have gone. So
Okay.
I know Coach Cooley and Coach Baum will have soccer open workouts, and Coach Krause and Coach Bloom will have tennis stuff for the kids in the summertime, and Coach Arden always meets with the middle school kids and the high school kids, and they run through the summertime with Coach Gibbs, and so those are always going on. And go out to tennis courts at night, there's always kids out playing tennis.
So it's really year-round almost, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully our coaches try to work together to make sure that they're not putting too much stress on those kids who do multiple sports and put them in a bind where they have to pick which sport they want to do because they schedule at the same time. So if volleyball's going in the evening, either Coach Harder goes in the afternoon or it goes later, and Coach Brown goes at about 6 o'clock in the morning for basketball, and Coach Bottom and Coach Cooley go in the afternoon because Coach Bottom is at work during the daytime and can't get out there, so they do soccer stuff later in the afternoon. And Coach Arndt runs with the cross-country kids early because it's cool and not as hot.
Swimming, they have an opportunity
Swimming
for
they get with
club
cast,
sport.
and they go into cast and swim. And I know Zane Spurlock and Stephen Kiefaber got their hands in cast as well as the middle school and the high school now. So hopefully that'll be a consistency for our kids from top to bottom. They did a good job for the first time in the heat, and saw some improvement in our kids. And they'll work on getting better at the strokes, and that's something we need is a good stroke technician. That's what Darren Ridenour was really, really good at. So hopefully Zane and Seth will mold into that and do some time at clinics and continue to, expand their swimming knowledge. So
Does all this go through your office? Do you have to okay everything?
they let me know, and I tell them if there's a conflict or not. So we try to work together, but the coaches do a good job of communicating with each other to help coordinate things. So that's a plus when they get along and they work well together. So
That's important for you.
yeah, you don't have to micromanage as much, and then you can give them that freedom to kind of do what they want under the guise of what we need to have done. And they don't feel like there's a thumb on them all the time.
People may look in the paper when salaries are posted and what coaches make, but if you break it down per hour, they're
Might
not
be a
even,
nickel.
they might. I know they're not even close to minimum wage.
No, not even close. Not even close.
So a lot of them do it for the love of the kids and love of the sport.
I think when I go back and think of all the jobs I interviewed at and taught at, and they always ask if you're a coach or a teacher, and obviously, coaching's not paying your salary, so you got to be a teacher first, but they kind of go hand in hand. I think if you're a good teacher, a good coach, and vice versa. So you can't really separate those two, of being a teacher and a coach, because even a teacher in a classroom is a coach. You're just coaching in the academic world and not out on the athletic field. So you have to find those ways to motivate kids and keep them encouraged and keep them plugging ahead. So it doesn't matter if you're coach by title or just coach because you're in the profession of education. So,
Well, being a coach is a demanding job, I would think, and you almost have to give up everything else, it seems like, too.
well, for me, thankfully, I got a very understanding wife who also is a coach and has been in the education world forever. And but everything changes, but you hope everybody's understanding, because it does take a lot of commitment. And
Yes, it does.
you find your why, and for me, my why is the kids that I come to school and help find them things to do, and keeps me going. But I also have my own family, so I got to think about the 10-year-old in my house and what he's doing, and you try to juggle those things and balance them as best as you can.
Well, as Sam said, it's for the love of the game, and you want to help the kids.
Well, that's what it's
Do
about.
well.
When you walk away, all you care about is that the kids got something better than what you started with, and
Yes.
and moving forward, and that they've had a great 4 years of experience of trying to be a part of Spartan athletics.
But school will be out, and then a couple of months, things resume. And
It won't take long, because girls golf will start right at the end last week of July. So everybody else starts August 1. So time you're thinking now, we're in April, and 3 months from now we'll be talking about running pretty much through everything again, 4 months at the most. So it won't take long.
not at all, no. I know people love their sports, so it kind of resumes.
Yeah, I think if you're anywhere in the state and you've been here, they're supportive of all of our teams, and it's great to see for our kids, and gives them a good experience. It's hard to go to places on the road and you got 100 people at your school watching your kids play, and come here and we got 300 people at a baseball game. We've been to places where there's not 300 people at a basketball game for a good sized 4A school, and you wonder what those kids feel like when nobody's coming to watch them play and participate. So our fans in our community does a great job of supporting our high school and our athletes and just our students in general. So that's a plus.
Do we have, change subject a little bit, but it's construction season. Do we have any facility improvements coming up?
Well, the lights for the other 3 lights for football are ready. So
Good.
but there are other things, the old varsity softball field's in the middle of being turned and renovated, and there's always things on the burners that I can't bring out, but
Right.
been discussed and talked about. So we're always looking for things, and we've talked about lights for soccer, and we'll see where those fall. And baseball's going to need lights, and we've talked about those. So lots of things we've been talking about. It's just getting the timing and all the finances, what you need to do in the right order, so you do it the right way. So
Getting all the lights at the football field the same will
That'll
be
make a
good.
plus.
Be good for everybody.
I think those are all set, and I think they're supposed to be delivered sometime in April. So I think they're trying to time a little bit with track so that they don't interfere with, our one home meet on Thursday, then our sectional meets in May. So hopefully they get them here. I don't think it'll take them that many days to get them done. So if they get them here in April and we can get them up and running before the track sectionals in May, I think that might be something that can happen.
Good.
So,
Good.
but we'll see. I don't know all the timing on that right now. So
Any poles to be added, or
nope, just 4.
light-
Just
lights?
LED lights will be a
Okay.
lot brighter. So should brighten up the whole area. So.
That'll be good.
So those old vapor lights served their purpose, but they're
More
30
energy
plus
efficient
year.
now.
Yeah, a lot better lighting, more bright, less cost. So all those things are pluses. So
A lot of improvements going on, a lot of changes, and
yeah, there's been a lot of changes in the last decade or so. So that's
Yeah.
a good thing for our kids.
Brent, thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here. We'll see if we can find a
And
coach maybe
talk
for
about
next Monday.
sports
So.
and spring sports going, and we wish all the Spartan teams the best of luck and everything. And
Thanks, guys.
good weather.
Yeah, that's the
helps.
key right now. If we can get everything in without canceling, that'd be great. So.
Thanks everybody for watching this edition of Spartan Sport here on TV3. Good evening.